Did you guys ever have crushes on your brother's friends?
No. My brother was 9 years old, or 8 years older than me. 8 years older. So
to me, that's perfect. All right, guys, we are here with stand-up comedian Sophie Buddle, straight from Canada. You're newly in America. It's true. I love America. America number one.
We did not pay her to say that.
Did someone force you to say that?
Sponsored by America.
It does feel like someone's holding a gun to your head.
I mean, I'm drinking
a
Coca-Cola. I'm in New York City. Can't get more American than this. I'm armed. I'm not.
You're armed with Diet Coke?
I could be, yeah.
Is there like a difference that you felt right away that was palpable in terms of the vibe of America versus Canada?
Yeah, it's just like a general danger all the time. And it's like obviously women can relate. Like everywhere we go, we're like vaguely in danger, of course.
Sure.
Because of our value.
You didn't feel like that in Canada?
No. And like obviously there's still the same kind of physical, like a man could attack you at any time. But I feel like here it's like you could die.
Right.
In Canada, I never feel like I'm going to die.
You know, nothing ever did you have any, you didn't have any friends ever who passed away in Canada?
Only by suicide, not to immediately be like, that's kind of the only way to die in Canada is if you kill yourself. Isn't that so kind of inspirational?
That should be the tourist slogan for visiting Canada.
We love autonomy, Canada.
Yeah, exactly.
You're your own
choice.
person.
And then now we have like legalized assisted death too.
That's amazing.
Sorry?
The pods. You see these pods?
Oh,
do you
in
have
Sweden.
The pods there?
Like Love is Blind? Yeah.
No, the pods where you can die.
Suicide pods. I didn't know if they made it to Canada.
No, but I've seen those on Futurama. I didn't realize that was real life yet.
So
it's a real
Sweden,
thing, yeah.
I think it's Sweden.
Oh, okay. The thing is we might have them. I didn't open the article. I just read the headline, but Canada now does assisted death.
You really are American if you're just reading the headlines.
I'm skimming.
Did you read, do you recall reading like what you're allowed to want to die for?
Just like if you're bummed, like if you're having a day. No, I'm sure it's like terminal illness.
I guess in Canada that would fly, but in America...
No, it's okay. So I had such a bummed out this morning. And that's why I also was feeling like a sort of car sick. I took an Uber and the 5 minutes I was late was because this morning I gave myself 5 minutes to have a little cry because I was having a difficult morning.
Yeah.
And then that's always ends up, I'm like, I have 5 minutes to cry.
I
can make that time
enough.
back up.
Five is not enough to cry.
Yeah, I cry often and 5 is, I don't think I've ever cried just 5 minutes.
Okay, I don't know if you do this too, but like the best thing I've had for ADHD is like if you have something that you really don't want to do or you need a little cry or something, I'll set a timer because then I know that at a certain time I'll either be done or I take a break. Mm-hmm. And so I set a timer today for 5 minutes and I was like, you can cry, get as much as you can out in 5 minutes and then put on some makeup and get in the car. So I had like coffee and crying for breakfast. And so now
What were you crying about specifically?
Because I'm so frustrated with myself because I basically forgot to book a flight that I'm supposed to be on tomorrow. And I was so sure that I had booked it. So much so that I came back to New York because I was like, well, I have to catch this flight out of New York. So I just several levels of stupidity that made it so frustrating. And it's like ended up being okay. I found a flight. It's like a little bit more expensive, but it wasn't that bad.
Not a big deal.
But it was like I could have made my life so much easier. Like it's just one of those.
Yeah, getting frustrated at yourself. Yeah, totally.
And now, so the timer thing, is that something that you invented yourself or did you read or a therapist told you about this?
No, I got a targeted ad.
I knew it was going there. I knew it was going there.
Like truly, targeted ads have helped me with so many things in my life. So it's the targeted ad. I didn't buy this product, but it's like you don't need to own the product for it to be helpful. So it's like a little cube and there's different amounts of time on each side. It's like there's a 5 minute one, a half hour one, an hour one. And they're like, okay, you have it on your desk and then you just put whatever amount of time you think it's going to be and you hit it and then you do your task. And then it's like helpful because you know that there's a amount of time that it can be finished.
Right. And
so I was like, I can just do that on my phone. And so like it happens all the time, especially if I have to book a lot of flights. I'm like, I set a timer for like 10 minutes because it doesn't take that much time to book flights.
And you need the fire. Annoying. You need the fire under your ass to do it. Because a task that you don't want to do or that you're not excited to do, that is my fucking nightmare, and it's every day. I mean, it's
what
every
is
day.
your like? Because for me, it's truly like administrative, like booking.
A lot
flights.
of that.
Yeah.
Anything
I don't
that,
mind
anything that's potentially frustrating or I don't know how to do, like getting health insurance.
Oh my God.
I will be on the floor
If
at the end
there
of
is
it.
something that's like, I have to fill out a form and it's not going to be easy to sign on my phone, and then I have to make a phone call. Like if there's like a series of things that I know I'm going to have to jump into multiple apps.
Yep.
I'm out.
Yeah, because I feel like with ADHD too, it's like you so easily feel fucking stupid.
Yes.
And it's that a lot of crying that I do is just like, it's like, I don't want to talk this way because I don't want to like perpetuate the feeling, but it's like, why is my fucking brain so dumb?
No, it's so much of the frustration of ADHD is like, why am I so stupid?
Well, just for the health insurance thing, I don't have ADHD, but for the health insurance thing, just no one knows what they're doing. Just be very clear. It has nothing to do with ADHD. And especially in America, it's literally made so that it is so confusing that you're going to get frustrated and not jump through the hoops, and you'll just pay the amount or not do it.
Yeah.
And also, like, I don't love to call either. Like, I feel like millennials and younger, we don't love getting on the phone. That being said, like, I've gotten so good at just being like, I don't know how to do this. I'm calling the number and I'm having this person walk me through it.
100%.
Yeah, it's just, I think what happened, you know how like, I don't know like if you know about trauma and stuff in the body, but when you're experiencing like a trigger in the classic sense of the word, your brain goes offline. When I think the thing that's frustrating with the ADHD is when I experience like a situation that's just a little frustrating, you got to figure it out, my brain goes offline and I can't get out of the forest.
Yeah, because you're remembering all the times in your life that you couldn't get something done and then something bad happened.
And it's like, this is not beneficial in any way.
No, I will say health insurance, I haven't even begun, because it's like I have free in Canada, obviously. And so I have a joke about it, about how like literally if I have any kind of health concern, I just treat it like a trip home. Because I could be in a coma. It's like throw me in an Uber. Like, I'm not dealing with that.
In Canada, though, I did hear that while you guys have like free healthcare, that like if you go to the ER, it's like you could be facing an 8-hour wait or something crazy. Have you experienced that?
I mean, you probably will have to wait. Yeah, but it's like,
we have to do that here too, and then we have to pay on top of it, though.
Yeah.
There was a guy last time Christina took me to the ER. There was a guy actively bleeding.
Yes,
from the leg,
guy.
And I was literally like about to pass out, and I said, "Someone help this fucking guy! He's bleeding on the floor."
Active bleeders should be seen first.
Active bleeders should be seen first.
So funny. I feel like America doesn't really respect like lines.
Correct.
I really get frustrated at airports because I feel like that everybody, it's like some people get in line and then everybody else stands near the line and tries to like fold in.
So
and I'm like,
you gotta merge,
But the only time they respect lines is at the emergency room. It's like, well, wait your time. You got here later. Like,
it's a lot of catch-22s here. In the States.
You gotta you'll figure it out. So it's been 2 years. What do you have, like, what are your first impressions besides that we don't like lines?
I feel like Americans are very like extroverted. Like even introverts in America are very extroverted. And I think because there's so many people here, you really have to impose yourself on others. Otherwise, you'll just get walked all over.
Sure.
And so like New York
That's
and LA
capitalism
especially.
too, though.
Yeah. No, definitely a lot of self-advocating from America.
I love it.
Because like Canadians always think Americans are rude. Everybody in Canada is like, Americans come to Canada and they're loud and they bump into you or they don't say excuse me or whatever. But it's like, it's because if you're here, like there's too many people. There's just too many people here.
Also, too, we can't get in with the doctor to figure out our dizziness, so we keep bumping into people. You know what I mean? So it's like it's not
They
really.
don't have medicine for their dizziness. They're not rude.
It feels like Canada does respect the government respects its citizens more than the United States government gives a fuck about.
It's truly just a smaller amount of people. Like it's like there's less people in Canada than in California, and it's like a bigger space than the United States. Yes.
Oh, it's like,
and so you just have room.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, I was like, you're also you've mostly been in California and New York, right?
Yeah.
So like you're in places that are densely populated. Like we have states that are more like Canada, like Montana. Exactly. No one goes to Montana.
I want to go to Montana.
I've been to so many states now because I've been on the road almost every weekend since I've been here.
Nice.
And so I feel like I have a pretty good grasp of the country now, which is like, this is another thing that I'm kind of suddenly struggling with. Like I feel like the past week is that my dream, my whole life, because I've been doing stand-up 15 years now.
Yeah.
All I've ever wanted to do is like tour around the States, is like kind of do every good club around the States. And now I've done that. And it's like something that I've like aspired to for so long. I feel that my goals have now been achieved, but
so
that
now
doesn't really work. I know I have to
dream
make a
bigger.
new one.
You're in America now.
Yeah.
I know.
You really just like be your own publicist. Yeah.
you know?
Think the highest of yourself.
I've done late
You've
night.
done you've done late night twice, actually. We just read your credits. I'm like, wait, she did late night. I read it.
I really, there's nothing that I inherently yearn for now. Like maybe more money, but like, even now it's like,
you haven't been here long enough. Maybe more money. That's the least American thing I've ever heard in my goddamn life.
It's like I have very low money. Let's just be clear. But it's like I have U.S.
Canadian,
dollars
you don't even
now.
want it.
I have U.S. dollars now, and so I go back to Canada and I'm a millionaire.
Right.
The economy in Canada is really bad. It's really like the economy in Canada is so bad. Just for laughs, just died. Like truly, I've had so many omens that it's like thank fuck I moved to the States because my life would be over.
You would rather feel that you're at the risk of dying at any moment.
Yes.
Than to be stuck in Canada.
Sink or swim.
I love
Absolutely.
that.
I also just saw there was a viral video. This was by a British guy, not a Canadian guy, but he was, kind of a response to how so many people in other countries think that Americans aren't well traveled. And he was like, well, listen, like you can just travel domestically in America and it's like going to a bunch of different countries. Yes. Do you feel that to be true?
Yes, I totally feel
Florida,
that.
different world.
Yeah, even we think that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so funny. No, I definitely think that that's true. And like you have Hawaii, like you have, like, there is kind of every option. You could go to Alaska. Like I do think that that's true. I do think that it's important for Americans to go to other countries and other cultures just because even I get sucked into it. It's like, it does feel like the only country that actually exists is the States when you're here because there's so much going on. There's so many different political things. There's so much different entertainment that it is hard to even fathom other swaths of cultures.
Yeah. I don't think it's that we're not interested though. I think it's that we don't know how to afford it, right?
Yeah.
Because other countries, especially like in Europe, like you can kind of take trains and like do it pretty low cost. I don't think we've been taught like how to hostel travel like safely and inexpensively. Like we just don't, that's not something we know how to do. It's not talked about. So in America, people are well traveled, but it's only rich people. Like all my rich friends, are really well traveled. And like we have money now, but like it's been like 5 years. Like so in that time I've gone to other countries. But before that, the only place I literally begged for a trip to Romania for years and years and years.
Are you
No, I just
Roman?
No.
Roman.
Romanian. No. I wanted to I wanted to go to Transylvania. That's why.
Because of vampires?
She's not Roman, she's goth.
You really? Like, is it a goth thing?
Well, yeah, no, for sure. Like, so you can go to Transylvania. There's a ton of vampire
Are you
culture.
goth? I'm sorry for asking. It's like asking pronouns.
I mean,
are you goth?
I don't think any 8-year-old is really goth, but
Absolutely you can be. So first of all, my dad is 50-something, heavily identifies with the punk lifestyle.
That's
still full
different.
punker.
That's different. A goth adult, there's something sad about it. But yeah, I'm like
I love goths
a goth
so
adult.
much. Goths and punks I love. Hippies are out.
Why?
I don't dress goth though.
Because hippies are daddy's money, sensitive, whatever.
I associate hippies with like bare feet and weed.
Yeah.
Yes, and those are their best qualities. And so
there's also like the original iteration of hippies and then like someone who's a hippie now who's more like a Williamsburg type person.
The thing is, to me, I truly think of hippies and I think of like overly sensitive about things that are not super important. I think daddy's money. I think like
this is very American.
This is what my dad thinks about hippies too.
Yeah, I mean it is kind of like people that grew up in the 60s. Yeah, but I'm not like conservative. I just actually think hippies might be bad people, but I think that goths and punkers are like politically savvy. They're smart. They dress like counterculture, and it's because they've thought about it and they've made choices.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was the alternative name for the tour I'm about to embark on was the Goth Adult Tour. But I love that. I love colored clothing too much too.
There's no rules. Goth is a lifestyle.
Yeah. Goth is a lifestyle.
I love that. Were you heavy goth high school?
No. That wouldn't have been good. That was to me like goth, like in high school, I feel like were people who
you're more Wiccan,
needed attention. And also like when I am Wiccan, but I'm like legitimately Wiccan. Like I practice Wicca, like seriously, not
amazing.
like
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I do feel like there's so much stuff that can be attributed to like manifestation or spirituality or like all of these different things. But like the way that I believe in it is when you really decide what it is that you want, And whether you do that and then you do a spell or you meditate or you manifest or whatever it is.
Or you pray. It's all the same shit.
It is all the same.
Yeah, I think
it's very potent.
Yeah, well, I think it's about once you are clear about what it is that you want, you make a million micro decisions that lead to that.
Yeah.
And I think that that's kind of the most powerful thing, because so much of human communication is nonverbal. So much of your life is like you're on autopilot, but your gut and your instincts and your subconscious do make a million decisions for you every day. And so when you decide what you actually want and you're sure about it and you're moving towards that decision, it is more likely that it'll happen, because it's about deciding the finish line. That's why I'm so frustrated that I don't have a goal anymore.
Right. I mean, you'll develop one. You'll certainly, because like attracts like, and it's already cool. Like, I imagine it really puts you in a good, solid place. The fact that you had a goal to move to another country, to tour these clubs, and you fucking did it. So you're like, all right, next on the list, baby.
Yeah. I also think it's like venue, like play a bigger theater, play a stadium, play those kinds of things.
TV show, sitcoms.
It's true. I'm only just starting to have people really show up for me at clubs. And like, I'm not sure, do you guys tour together or do you tour mostly separate?
We have toured together, but now we tour separately. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I'm sure that you had this at some point too, where you notice like after shows, people lined up really to see you. And they tell you like what they first discovered you at. And like blah, 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 as opposed to people that are just going to that venue and seeing whatever the person is that week.
Yeah.
I've only truly the past couple weekends have started having that.
Great.
And it is really such a good feeling, and it makes the show, it allows you to take more risks, because you're allowed to be yourself
you're
more,
safe,
and so you can do kind of the weirder things, because there's a built-in trust and there's a built-in they already like you, and so if you do something a little bit off color.
Sure.
Not a little bit off color. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just get weird.
Exactly.
You can get weird. You have the space to get weird.
Well, speaking of energy and this new transition into people showing up for you, I'm curious, do you feel the change in the energy in the audience when people are there to see you as opposed to a full audience that's just there?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Because I also have kind of not divisive comedy, but like everybody, my comedy is not for everybody. And so I have
comedy that's for everybody sucks.
Yeah.
Yes. So
it's children's programming.
I feel like maybe you guys can help me with this. It's like, I'm trying to figure out, I don't even know if it's for a joke or if it's just an analogy that I haven't quite ironed out.
Sure.
But I feel like when people go to a comedy show and they're sensitive, that's fine. But I think of it as sort of like if you have sensitive teeth. If you have sensitive teeth and you can't go to any restaurant and expect them to puree your steak for you.
Right.
And so if you have sensitive teeth and then you go to a comedy show, we make candy, we make jawbreakers. Of course, there's going to be something that's going to make you feel extra sensitive.
Right.
And so we shouldn't be catering ourselves to the most sensitive person in the room. And I do feel like there is sort of an expectation now to cater to this most sensitive person in the room that we don't even know is there or
and
exists.
It's such a disservice to the sensitive person, to everybody else, and to the comedian. There's this great book called The Untethered Soul by this guy named Michael Singer. It's like my Bible. And he has this great analogy of we all walk around with a giant thorn in our side from whatever, from our dad saying we were fat when we were 5 or whatever the fuck it is. And instead of removing the thorn, which is going to be painful, but it's actually, that's what's going to make the rest of our lives better. We manufacture a little box. And when we meet somebody, so you can't touch this thorn because this is my thorn. And it's like we cling to our wounds instead of actually just excavating them. And it's like, and in America, it's interesting what you're saying about America.
Wound is identity here.
Yeah. And, I feel like we're so distracted by everything in America that we're less likely to be in tune with our intuition. It just takes, you have to be a little more bold about being in tune with your intuition and reminding yourself to be focused on your goals, because there's just so many shiny things everywhere.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's so true. That's so true. And I feel like it's especially true with comics right now, where whatever your thorn is it's supposed to become really the center of your identity, and it's supposed to be the thing that benefits you. It's like whoever is the most wounded is actually the most valuable.
Yeah, they're winning. Yeah.
Whereas I think that like healing and working on yourself, whatever that difference is from how wounded you are to heal, I think that difference is more valuable than whoever is the most hurt. And I'm someone that I really gross stuff happened to me. I started stand up when I was 14 with adults.
Yeah, you got to be fucked up.
I've got gross stuff. Yeah, no, and it's so funny because female comics immediately are like, ugh, like that must have been bad, and everybody else is like, wow, you started so young. That's so sick. And
like a Bo Burnham, the female Bo Burnham.
I mean, my first question is, what happened during your childhood that you started stand up at fucking 14?
That you had material.
You know what it was? You know what it was? It's that I should have had my mom is so good. My mom is my rock. I love her so much. She was like,
I smell a butt.
She half-heartedly was a stage mom and didn't go the full way. And I'm always like, if you're going to do it so that I could be set up for my life. But she was still protecting me enough. So I was like, as a kid, I was going to a lot of acting auditions and I was like doing all of these like.
In Vancouver this is? Or?
In Ottawa, I went to.
Oh, okay.
I've lived in a couple different places.
Okay.
But basically, it's like there's also kind of no industry in Canada.
That's why I was asking like that.
Yeah, no, exactly. There was nothing I really could have been doing, but I was going to auditions and stuff. But I never like broke through to like having any kind of success. And so my mom always kind of thought I was a writer too, because I would write little stories and blah, blah, blah. And so I did some acting and I did some writing. And then she brought me to my first stand-up show when I was 14, and we would go watch shows. And we started going every week for a year.
That's cool.
Yeah. And so we would go to like the amateur night. And so it didn't seem like a big deal. I had never seen a HBO special. I wasn't watching Seinfeld. Like I just thought stand-up was Wednesday nights, 13 people go up and half of them bomb. And so I'm like, I can do that.
That's a lot of stand-ups, in your defense.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, I loved it. And so, it wasn't like
it wasn't presented to you as a mountain.
No, exactly. It was presented as most people are really bad. And so I was like, I can be better than most of these people.
That's how a lot of people start comedy.
Yeah, I know. That's like the problem. That's why everyone thinks they can be a stand-up comedian, because there are so many shows like that.
I know. And that's why it's so insulting when someone comes up to you after a show and they're like, people told me I should do stand-up. It's like
every time. Yeah.
People always say that.
I just let them, I say pursue it.
Yeah, same. I say go for it.
Also, too, if all of your friends say like you're the funny one, there is something there. It's not nothing.
I don't even think that they shouldn't do it. I just think after watching you do an hour of stuff that you're working on, it's like, did I make it look effortless? I don't think so. I don't think that I did.
You also mentioned before we started recording that you loved cocaine in high school.
Yes, I loved cocaine in high school. So I used to.
I say that so sweetly.
I went to high school in Ottawa and I started stand up there. And there was only 2 clubs at that time. And as a new comic, you could only do each club once a month.
Oh, okay.
And also keep in mind, this is 15 years ago. This is before Netflix. Right. This is before YouTube specials. Like stand up was not a big deal. There was zero satellite, there was zero like bar shows for stand up at that time. And so I would do my 2 club spots a month, but I wanted more. And so I would take the Greyhound to Montreal on weekends because they had shows on weekends that I could do.
Right.
And everybody in Montreal at that time was doing cocaine. And so every weekend I would go and I would do shows and I would do cocaine. Sacre bleu. Yeah. And so
an adult person offered a 14-year-old girl cocaine?
It is important to mention I did lie about my age. Everyone thought I was 19 or 20.
This is very Drew Barrymore.
Yeah. It's so Drew Barrymore.
I love lying about your age when you're young. When you're a young teen, you're like, I'm 18, mister.
I know. It's so funny.
How did you look old enough at did you
have those titties when you were 14?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, you got those Sydney Sweeney titties.
I know.
Those can make you look older, look a lot older.
It is, but also nothing else about me was older. It's somebody has
a man's dream.
You know who it is? Beth Stelling has such a good stand-up joke in her most recent special about the only time men believe women is when we say we're 18 and we're not. And so I remember everybody found out my age like a year into doing stand-up and was so mad at me, and it was like a whole thing.
They were actually mad at you?
Well, yes, because people had asked me out and stuff.
They were like, that's the way I would only treat a brand new 18-year-old, not a 15. I'm not disgusting.
Yeah, exactly.
They were mad at themselves. They were mad at themselves.
Exactly.
No, of course. But it's still...
Like, for anyone watching this show, a little backstory is when you start comedy as a female, that you're on like a fucking list.
They talk about you.
And the men swarm to you because like their bad reputation hasn't gotten to your ear hole yet. So they a fucking succubus to you.
And you're also now in this community, which is the only community where they have value in life. And so they know that that's their only chance to find a woman is somebody that's interested in being part of this community and loves stand-up as an art form.
I could teach you a few tricks, kid.
Yes. And so that's the only place where we will like be enamored by them, where it's like if we met them at our day jobs, we'd be like, this guy sucks.
Yeah. Exactly.
Just Steve from accounting.
Well, I don't know if you found, there's a comedian named Kurt Ryan who does hilarious comedy memes, like so inside baseball, but like just nailing it.
Yeah.
And he has so many about like
the new
showing
girl
up to the open mic for the guy that runs an open mic in the back of an Applebee's.
Yeah. Yep.
So spot on.
I will follow. I love memes.
So you liked cocaine when you were in high school, and then did you just stop liking it? Did you ever have an issue with it?
No, I mean,
just did a cash.
My mom definitely was like, you are addicted to going to Montreal. And I was like,
I was crazy. I love French bread.
I love Montreal.
I
love
why's your nose bleeding, honey? Don't worry about it, Mom. I got allergies.
Mom.
I got allergies.
No, I definitely, I think it's good to do hard drugs in high school and then be kind of like, look back on it like, oh my gosh, that was so mature. Like, I went to fashion school after high school, and then everybody would like smoke cigarettes for lunch. And so I did cigarettes in high school.
So French.
I mean, in fashion school. And so truly it was
did
like
cigarettes in fashion school.
I truly like all of my drug use has coincided with trying to make friends in a new community.
Yeah, as it does.
And so I actually really don't feel like I have an addictive personality at all. Because
you just love friendship.
I'm addicted to friendship. Exactly. And I'm willing to get there at any cost.
How Canadian.
I'm an only child. That's really what it is.
Only child.
So desperate.
Is it, as an only child, how did you like being an only child?
I liked it. I know everybody thinks only children are so weird, but it's like, I feel
We're
like
all weird.
I know. I feel like my mom is like kind of more like my little sister. And so
your little sister?
That's not good. That's not good.
I mean, she's always stealing my clothes, and
okay.
you know, I think that I've always had really close friends, and I've always had people around, and so I think the biggest thing that kind of isolates only children is if they get a lot of attention from their parents, and that doesn't lead them to go out and make friends. Like I think there's like a lot of things that can be very isolating and very like, you think you're the center of the world as the only child. And
I think my only concern is like you almost seem like someone who grew up in Manhattan. Like you grew up too fast, right? Because you're around adults so often.
Yeah.
That's the only weird thing. But like that being said, like my best friend is an only child, and I don't feel like she's like stand out strange.
Okay, that's good. I feel like maybe as we get older too, we all kind of blend into society.
Yeah, I know a couple of my close friends are only children, and I'm like, I don't really notice a difference.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so how many siblings do you guys have?
I just have one.
I have one younger brother.
Younger brother.
Yeah,
you have an older brother.
Yeah.
Interesting. And so do you guys feel like having a brother is like makes you cooler? I always feel like girls that have a brother are like more comfortable around guys, because it's like they have their friends around, like growing up and everything.
Totally. I definitely grew up like loving cars because my dad and my brother, so I was very influenced by the male stuff, I guess. I liked it. One thing though, as I grew older, I found out women who have sisters, I don't think I've ever seen two people fight harder and more brutally than two sisters.
Oh, because
I've never seen anything like it.
I've seen them really put the knife in.
Oh, it's like almost scary. I'm like, I am so glad I have a brother. Not
It's
a
a type of person though. My mom has two sisters, and they're not catty.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't. Yeah, I think like it can get there, but I don't think that it necessarily has to. I don't know. That's my only sister because my dad also only had a brother. So, I don't know. That's the only sisters.
I always wanted a brother because I always had crushes on my friend's brother's friends.
And so if you had a brother, all those crushes could come to your home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever have crushes on your brother's friends?
My brother was 9 years old, or 8 years older than me. 8 years older. So
to me, that's perfect.
You know what? I had crushes on my friends' dads.
Okay.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. And I would dare I say, they weren't sexual fantasies because I wasn't sexual yet because I was really young, but I would like think about them and then like rub up against the couch.
Oh, absolutely. You gotta absolutely destroy your couch arms.
Were you doing a lot of humping as a child?
Oh, I was
like
humping. Absolutely. I was humping.
I wonder if that's an ADHD thing, because I now realize like it's a self-soothing thing when you do it from like some kids like get aroused at a very, very, very young age. I'm like, damn. But if I look at my track record, I'm like, I've been masturbating since I was like 7 or 8.
I do think that, I mean, I would wonder, I assume masturbating gives you like a dopamine hit. And our whole thing is that we have no dopamine. And so it makes sense that we love it.
Yeah.
Have you like been medically checked like for your level of dopamine? Is that a thing that people are doing?
No, it's just an ADHD thing. Like that's what our...
No, I know. Yeah, I know. But I'm like, can you medically test? Like, this is where the level is at.
I wonder. I would love to.
I'm sure you do brain scans.
Right. I'm guessing you can.
Because
that sounds like a lot of forms and phone calls, though, doesn't it, to get a brain scan?
I know. And insurance.
I'm sure that you can, but I'm sure 0 ADHD people have gone for a brain scan.
And you medically.
What areas in your life are affected by ADHD that like most people wouldn't think that would be the cause of it? Like interrupting is one thing that ADHD. When I learned that was ADHD, I'm like, I was so embarrassed by that because I would do it on the show all the time. And I still do it, but I'm like, because I watch videos of myself, I'm like, I don't want to cringe today. So like, don't interrupt people. But it's when I found that out, I was like, oh, there were so many things that I'm like, I'm just stupid, I guess. My brain doesn't work. And then, these accounts that I follow on Instagram are like, no, it's actually ADHD.
I mean, if we roll back this footage, you can watch me trying so hard not to interrupt you the past 20 seconds because you just said that. I'm like trying. But I feel like ADHD people are not offended by that because I know myself, especially is like when I start talking about something, I need somebody to jump in. I need somebody to cut me off at a certain point because it's like I'll hit my point pretty quick. And then if nobody else seems like they want to jump in, I'll keep going. And so I need to be stopped.
Podcasting to me is like double Dutch. Like a lot of times people just, I mean, especially a female comedian can learn this from podcasting with men because whether or not they have ADHD, they won't stop the thought. But unlike you recognizing that you've made your point pretty quickly, they think they continue to make points when they don't.
Yes, that's so true. I feel like maybe that's why we've done well in this male-dominated field too, is because we feel so comfortable interrupting, whereas like men will just keep talking. And so if you don't feel comfortable jumping right in, you won't get a chance to say your piece.
Yeah, I love when people, when I'm on a podcast with only men and go, oh, Corinne keeps interrupting. I go, it's that or I don't talk and I smile the whole time. I go, I don't think you know anything about this business.
No,
I go, there's very few things I'm sure that I'm good at. I go, podcasting is one of them. Also, to answer the dopamine question, there's actually no reliable way to directly measure the levels of dopamine in a person's brain, which is fun. It's funny to me because I feel like there's a lot of talk about dopamine and to the point where you would think there is a reliable way, but we're just talking vaguely about dopamine.
I feel like the test to find out if you're deficient or not in dopamine is whatever your screen time is.
Right, yeah. It's just like 9 hours.
It is, yeah.
It says some blood tests measure the levels of neurotransmitters such as dopamine, but they don't represent the levels of neurotransmitters in the nervous system itself.
My question is, what is serotonin? Because I always mix up serotonin and dopamine.
Well, like what's the difference between them?
Yeah, I mean, I know dopamine is like you do something that's like satisfying and you get some kind of brain hit.
It's a reward chemical.
Yeah, but serotonin is like feels like a happiness.
Serotonin is a chemical messenger that has some important jobs in the brain and body. It controls your mood.
Like a lot of depression medicine is like inhibiting
SSRIs.
Versus serotonin versus dopamine. Dopamine and serotonin are molecules that send signals throughout the body. These chemicals affect how we feel. When dopamine is released in our brain, we feel a sense of temporary pleasure. Serotonin, while similar to dopamine, creates a long-lasting feeling of happiness or well-being. So I think it's just like short-term, long-term is the easiest way to break it down, most likely. But they're doing similar jobs.
Okay, interesting.
Nice. So if people are using them interchangeably, I guess they're not wrong.
Okay.
They're not super wrong.
Okay, great. That's good to know.
Well, the thing is, like, are you Gen Z or millennial?
I think I'm kind of like the youngest millennial or the oldest Gen Z.
What year were you born?
94.
Oh, yeah, you're a millennial.
Yeah.
Oh, really? 94? Yeah. Oh, sorry. 90. No, I'm going backward.
Like
wait, how old are you?
I'm 29.
I can't do math backwards.
The thing is, I'm sure that I'm not Gen Z, but I am in the weird kind of in between because I don't really.
No, you're
like
millennial.
I think 90 is the cutoff for millennial.
No. It's like 97. Yeah.
It's 97.
Because my ex-boyfriend is like the first year of Gen Z. Yeah. He's like born in like 97.
And the thing is, because I started stand up so young and I was around everybody was 30 when I started stand up. I do feel like I am closer to millennial.
No, you're a millennial.
But then I also grew up on iPhone. Like I had my first cell phone when I was 13 and stuff. And so I think a lot of the negative parts of Gen Z I do have.
Nice.
Yeah. And I grew up with social media and stuff, which I think is a big part of it.
So did you have Instagram in high school?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
How was that?
More cocaine? Doing drug deals?
Yeah.
Snort the pain away.
Yeah.
Because in high school, it's like, God, the comparing that goes on in a young high schooler's mind is just so off the charts, especially with young women. And I thank the universe every day that I escaped school without social media.
Yeah, and I think that that's kind of a big part of the generational divide is like when you first started having Instagram specifically feels kind of like the worst one, especially for girls. I was just looking at, there were some stats I was looking at on my way here about like how self-harm and all of these personality disorders go up exactly with how much you use Instagram. Mm-hmm. And so all of these Gen Z girls are just fucked, obviously, because it's like you can't open your phone without looking at people that appear to be perfect.
Right.
Are you a person who takes nudes?
Yes. Oh my God, that's another thing.
Yeah, because like, I'm curious to see, like, growing up with having, a smartphone.
My nudes were leaked in high school.
That's what I was getting at.
Yes.
Huge problem.
So I was like sexting when I was in grade 9. He was in like grade 11, and I was like, we weren't really like dating, but we would like flirt at school, and once in a while we would sort of like sext. It was just kind of one of those.
Yeah.
And so we would send each other nudes, and then I found out at some point he had showed all of his friends my nude, but it made me more popular. And so...
Oh, Canada.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Well, I don't like sharing this story publicly because I feel like obviously so many people, that's the worst thing that's ever happened to them is their nudes getting shown.
It's very interesting to hear that it didn't leave you scarred.
I had a huge crush on his friend, and then I ended up dating his friend, I feel like, from that. And so my advice to young girls is like, take nudes, but make sure you get the shot. Take a few tries. Soon people
now there are
will see it.
Revenge porn laws. So
and
so
the
also
AI
you can be charged with a crime if you are a high school boy sharing the nudes of a high school girl.
He still works at a cell phone kiosk, so I'm not too worried about taking him to court.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
Yeah, but it's like it is truly. I was talking to my friend a couple days ago about this specifically. And at her high school, some guy created a folder of all the girls' nudes. And the only way to see the folder, as like other guys, is you had to offer up a new nude, or you had to pay.
That's young men in business.
Yes,
he's an entrepreneur.
But the principal of the school found out about this folder and looked
and then he
through
submitted
it.
A nude,
Looked through it, and everybody's face that he could identify, he contacted their parents. And I was like, we were laughing so hard about it because I was like, I'm sure there was a couple pictures where the face was not in it, and he still was like, I know whose tits these are, but I am not allowed to contact the parents based off that.
Your daughter has a mole near her right nipple, right? Oh man, yikes!
That's so weird.
Do you guys send nudes?
Yeah. I only did it. I never did it. I actually have only done it once ever in my whole life after I ended
Was someone
a 7-year
really begging for it or what? Well, like if you never do it and then you suddenly do. Like,
well, I got in and out of a 7-year relationship. And so I'm like, well, I've never sent a nude. And this guy that I was hooking up with.
You never sent them to Steven?
No.
Really?
He wasn't as sexual as he was. He's like, I don't want to see a naked picture of you. I just want to see you naked. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever.
Interesting.
Yeah. And
I love a nude.
I do too. I still take them all the time. I don't send them to anybody, but I take them.
Yeah. Just for your record.
Yeah. Because I'm just like, God damn, girl, you look fucking fantastic.
Yes.
But yeah, I remember the reaction that he had was amazing. And then I also remember part of me was like, he has a lot of morals and values that he like leads by, but I'm like, if he showed other comics, I wouldn't be pissed because these are really good nudes.
Well, that's the thing. You get the shot. They show it to somebody. You're like, well, you're welcome.
Yeah. I'd rather somebody else leak it than me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to leak it.
No, I'm not going to leak it.
I love nudes, but I do not want people sharing my nudes. Not because I can't. I'm like, the quality of the nude is great. It's just like a huge slap in the face and like in trust.
No, of course. It's so invasive.
If I send a nude, I basically have the thing of like,
what?
You're going to show this to other people. Like I already had that in my head. Like,
yeah, I think that's the advice that you know, like if you're a younger person listening, like when you take a nude and you send a nude, just in your back of your head, be comfortable that this could be shown to not just a few people. It could be shown to everyone online.
Yeah.
And if you're okay with that, then proceed. If you're not, it's not worth the risk, quite frankly.
100%. And I definitely don't think that in the future, because the thing they always used to warn us about in high school, because we had so many assemblies about nudes. Everybody,
are you serious?
I don't. We didn't have one.
I think that we were the first. I think we were the first year where everybody had phones.
That's true. I had a cell phone in my senior year, but it wasn't one that was taking good pictures.
It wasn't a smartphone.
Yeah. I think that grade 9, we all had phones, and that's when everybody's exploding sexually. And I think that none of the school administrators knew what to do about it. They were like vaguely aware that it was happening, and so we had so many assemblies where they were like, "Do not send nudes to each other. It is child pornography. You will go to jail."
That's great.
And then, but it's like we have the internet now. We're like, "Will I go to jail?" And it's like, "No." And we're like, "Okay."
Liars.
Yeah.
You could be sent. You could be put on like a predator list though. Like that does happen for things that I don't think it should happen for.
Sex offender list.
Yeah, like if
you're not allowed to live near a school, you're not like regardless.
But it's like,
of the
what if you're going to school? And you can't live near it, I guess.
I guess so. Yeah, because there have been cases of high school boys charged with child porn.
Sure, for sure.
So,
I mean, good.
Yeah, honestly.
See you in jail, bitch.
Yeah. You are in a long-term relationship.
Yes.
Right? How is that? Like, how have you, long-term relationships are an interesting topic because it's like, how
they're
do
so
you,
long.
There's so many years and you're like, it just keeps happening.
That is true.
One cool thing that I found about long-term relationships is like your relationship takes up different iterations of itself over time as it evolves.
Yes,
it evolves.
that's so
it ebbs
true.
and flows.
Different chapters. Yeah.
So what have your chapters been like?
I mean, both of us are road comics, and so we spend a lot of time apart, hence nudes,
nice.
right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But one thing that is nice about that is we both get so much alone time, whereas I feel like the hard part of a long-term relationship is every day you're in the same space as each other. It's like there's so many problems that could arise with being in the same small apartment as each other every single day.
Sure.
But we're both very busy. And then when we're together, we're so relieved to be back together that it's really nice. I feel like right now we're in a very good chapter. He's on the road right now. I'm on the road right now. I'm meeting him in Toronto next week because he's doing a week there. And so I have a week off. I'm going to go there, hang out with him, and then we're going to go visit my mom for like a couple days. And then we're both back in LA for a week. Like, it's like, I'm really looking forward to our time together.
Yeah.
It is sexy.
Have you ever lived together?
We do live together.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we moved to the States together, so we have an apartment together in LA.
Nice.
But it's like really big. Like, I've never had such a big apartment. We have like a big 2-bedroom. We have dishwasher, laundry.
Nice.
Which I also think is like I think, and I'm sure this is not true, but in my opinion, my biggest flaw is that I'm messy, is that I struggle with like, I do a lot of piles. I've got a real shopping addiction. I have those fucking Sephora bags everywhere. Like, it's really a lot of stuff. And and men, I think in general, don't like stuff. They're bothered by clutter. My boyfriend's always like, I need a surface. Like, and I really will fill up every surface in the apartment. And so having like a dishwasher, having a laundry machine, having a second bedroom that has kind of become my pile room is really helpful, because then we can keep the common areas generally clean. Sometimes obviously it spills into the general areas, and then I know that that's my bad.
Yeah. Right. What's his bad? So your bad is you're messy. What's his bad?
His bad is like his like worst quality.
Yeah. What's like the thing that's the hardest part of living with him? Yeah.
Well, it probably goes with my mess. It's that he's kind of OCD. Like, he really likes, and it's not that he's OCD with like pot. Like, he's honestly okay with the amount of clothes and stuff. He's just like, he is anxious. He does have OCD. So if I'm too off the rails, it will stress him out.
So he literally has OCD.
No, he actually has OCD. But his OCD is more germ related, because he had a little like kidney failure incident when he was in high school.
Kidney little skit.
So him and his family went on this big trip to Egypt, and he had kidney failure there. And
in Egypt.
Yeah, and the doctor said that it's because he ingested some like poo particles at some point. And
that could happen anywhere.
Well, yeah,
anytime.
So he got it in his head that it was like, he tied his shoe when it was like his shoelace was messy in some street, and then he tied it, and then maybe he ate something.
Oh boy.
And then he like fully turned yellow. He had to be quarantined. It was like a really serious medical incident.
Kidney failure is no joke.
His parents thought he was going to die. Like, it was a whole thing.
Shit.
And so from that, he became very obsessed with germs. And so, like, I do all the cooking. He never really learned to cook. Part of that is because he's always nervous about food stuff, and so he always goes to like restaurants because he knows that it'll be food safe or whatever.
Right.
And so I do a lot of cooking, and then if I'm cooking like chicken or something, I get a lot of questions, which I really don't appreciate.
What?
Well, a lot of
Where'd you get that chicken, babe?
Is this cooked all the way through? Showing me a lot. Is this pink? No, it's not pink. Like, just eat it. So I would say that's an issue, is the checking. And if I say,
with chicken.
because I used to work in a kitchen. Like, I'm a good cook. I'm safe. I know all of the things. But definitely sometimes I'll, I won't rinse a red pepper before I cut it or something. And then if he sees me do that, I'll hear about it.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have empathy and sympathy for you, because I can't, like, even I have OCD as well. And when I am around, and I have dated someone with OCD, and even when I'm around people with OCD, it makes mine flare up. So it's very very hard to be around that kind of an energy, especially when it's with someone who's not really trying to stop it. Oh. Yeah. I've worked really hard to stop a lot of my obsessions and compulsions, but then there's some people just not really attempting.
And what kind of OCD do you have? I know there's a lot of different kinds.
I don't have germ. I don't give a shit about germs.
Are you a checker?
Checking. Definitely like a lot of switches, a lot of touching.
Yeah.
A lot of ruminating, that kind of thing.
Is it like about social situations?
No,
or just trying to remember if you turn something off?
More like that kind of thing. Yeah.
I was doing a joke that also never really worked. And you don't usually try to bring up jokes this often, but it's, when a joke doesn't work and you're like, it's got to live somewhere. So it's going to live on this podcast.
Yeah.
So my boyfriend has OCD. He's always worried that I didn't turn the oven off. And I'm like, don't worry. Every time I turn the oven off, to remind myself, I turn my hair straightener on. And so I can see that the oven's off. And don't worry about that, because every time I turn my hair straightener off, I turn the water on. And so it'll put off the fire, whatever.
I think you could do it at an OCD convention. The problem is people just like, OCD is used so colloquially that people don't know what it actually is.
Yeah, it's true.
They don't know how debilitating it can be for some people.
Relationship-wise, do you feel like you need somebody very chill, or do you feel like you need somebody also that has OCD so that they understand?
Definitely not someone who has OCD. I don't care. I've also managed mine to the point where if I didn't tell you, you wouldn't notice that I had it at this point.
No, I would never know.
You would notice it. Yeah, no. Especially things, because the obsessions are harder to control, but they're in my head, so you can't see those going on. The compulsions, I like when I was 12, I was just like, Corinne, this is fucking ridiculous. Stop touching things. Like, just stop.
And what do you mean by touching things? Like checking lights, or
or even like this, like it doesn't, like, I can't, it's like, okay, so sometimes you'd be like, this just like doesn't feel good like this. So I move it like this, and it makes me feel it somehow, like the positioning of like an object can make me feel a certain way internally, like it regulates your emotions.
And
but I just know that that's fucking insane. So I just say, stop doing that. But every now and then you can slip up, especially if you're going through a period of time that is stressful. Like right now, I'm going through a stressful time because I have to shut down I own a store, and I have to shut it down. And so it's giving me anxiety. So all my fucking tics are really out of control because I have a high anxiety thing happening right now. But most times it's not a problem.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense, because especially something little. If something is like not sitting quite right, and then just moving it a little bit would make you feel better, that's a little positive hit for you. And it's like, why not treat yourself if you're stressed out?
Because you can't keep treating yourself, because at a certain point you just need to like it's like, for me, it's like
you're egging on the thing.
Yeah, you need to get past this.
Yeah.
If
your boyfriend's a germaphobe, how is he with sex?
Okay, so
he doesn't like raw chicken. What is it? Does he like pussy?
Yeah. So that is something that I've been trying to push him to do a joke about, because I'm like, I kind of think he's faking OCD because he loves eating ass. Like he has it. Like totally, it like does not exist.
He has
during
convenient
sex.
Kidney failure.
Exactly. I think he's faking
weaponized kidney failure.
He was afraid that when he was a child, he inhaled poop in Egypt and he almost died, and yet he eats your ass. He doesn't realize he's on the brink of curing his own OCD this entire time.
Exactly. Yeah. He's so horny. Like he's such a he's Italian. I don't know if that means anything, but like I truly
I will say I've experienced horny men as much, or Italian men much more.
I think it really is something. I think Israeli. Does that make sense?
For some reason Israeli men and Italian men, I'm like, you're just very hello my love. I'm like, oh, I love this. Ravage me, bitch.
Really ravaging. Yes, totally. And so I truly think his horniness does take whatever the blood in his brain that keeps his OCD alive. I think it leaves.
Goes to his dick.
And
so he can eat the ass.
And he also loves like a public place sex thing, which is not really my thing, but it's fine. Once in a while I'll do it. But
it's like if it makes you that happy and it doesn't gross me out, sure.
No, he's faking it.
It's good for his OCD.
I think you're right.
There's there's no way he can eat ass and be cool with it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you've clearly brought this up to him.
Yes.
What does he say for himself?
You came on this podcast to get vindicated.
I'm like, I brought it to the experts and everybody thinks you're faking
Your
it.
OCD's cured, bitch.
The thing is, I love accusing him of faking like anxiety and faking OCD in the same way that I love to do bi erasure. Like, I just think that it's funny. And so I think with stuff like that, it's just more fun to do it than to not do it.
Right. Wow. I mean, bi erasure is a fun activity. Are you bisexual, or you just like to?
I think so, but in the way that it bothers bi people. If I say like, yeah, why not?
Have you eaten a woman out?
No, but you don't actually legally have to. No.
And you're right.
And I
have eaten women out, and I don't identify as bisexual, but that I could have been the whole time.
So there you go. This is the thing. So you can just say it. Like, it doesn't even really mean anything.
No, we've had colleagues come out as bisexual who've been in a long-term relationship with a man, and we're like, "What are you doing, girl?"
Yeah, I just thought a woman was pretty once. I'm bi. You know?
I know, exactly. It's
I like tits.
It's actually, I don't know if you know, but the way to convert to Islam is you just read a short prayer, and then technically you've converted to Islam.
Are you serious?
Yes,
No.
and it's the same for bisexuality. You just say it, and then now you're bi.
Say it out loud.
In fact, I think all bisexual people should convert to Islam so people take them more seriously.
Ooh, hot take.
Big ideas today.
Well, there are layers, I imagine, of bisexuality. Like some women, like some people love just fucking their same gender, but not dating their same gender. There are a lot of layers, and I do still think everyone's a little bisexual.
I think everyone's bisexual too, and I'm always trying to convince my boyfriend and because he has, he's in a group of like 4 best friends. They've been together since high school. That's still his crew. That's still like his people.
That's cute.
And they're all like rural, small town, private school kids. And so I'm constantly trying to convince them that they're all bisexual.
Nice.
And they are so not into it. They like really are bothered.
It's probably
by how
because they're
much
bisexual.
Exactly. I'm like, you're always kissing each other in the pool. Like, wait, in what way?
What?
I mean, they throw each other around in the pool, and they've all kissed each other at some point. And
yeah, that is bisexual. I'm going to agree with you on
to
this.
Me,
that's beautifully
not
bisexual.
What is not?
Yeah,
you know
right.
What I mean?
Yeah.
Well, men just their comfortability with being fluid sexually is just it's so funny to me because
if they're straight, they're allowed to kiss each other in the pool. It's like okay, okay.
So funny.
Damn. Wow.
So wait, have you dated a girl? Like, what makes you like? Corinne and I are both.
It's really. I just do it to be a button pusher. I have not done anything.
You've never even kissed a woman?
I think in high school. In high school, I made out with my friend, but I think that she is.
Sometimes you do that for
actually bisexual, and was like, wouldn't that be so hot if we made out for the guy? Okay. I'm like, yeah, true. It was, it was my drug era, so I'd do whatever.
Yeah, it's your cocaine day.
Yeah,
that's great.
Damn,
that's awesome. Well, is there any other I think we've covered it. Is there anything you wanted to cover that we haven't gotten to yet?
I mean,
we have to wrap any other buttons you need to push before we turn off these microphones?
I mean, how do I get canceled on this podcast? Like, I feel like
is that your goal?
I've hit a couple different things that could really take off in a negative way.
At this point, I think we could just use the free press.
Yeah.
I think we've done really everything that we can. We've tried everything.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing I would ask that I love asking, you guys are you both road dogs, or you mostly stay in town?
We did the road often.
We've lived both lives, I think.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I always am looking for advice for road dog stuff because I'm on planes every 2 or 3 days.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
My skin is so dry. I'm so tired.
You got to do it. I do a moisturizing mask on the plane. Yeah, I go to the bathroom once the seatbelt sign goes off. I go to the bathroom and I just put on the moisturizing mask, and I'm just like, because usually
is it a sheet mask or like moisturizer?
No, it's just like a thick mask that you put on. You can't really tell. Your skin just looks super dewy.
Yeah,
I think it was like I forget the name of it, but it's specifically for airplanes.
Oh, okay. I would love the link of that. I just am I can't keep up with my skincare. I'm dry as a bone. I keep losing my voice.
Oh, so when you talk to people after the show, that's when my voice would go the most.
Oh.
So you have to, sometimes talking, you shout more when you like talk to somebody after a show than you would on a microphone, because it makes sense, because you're on a microphone, you don't need to yell.
No, you shouldn't do stand-up comedy.
So just kind of talk in the upper register of your voice, which you kind of already do. But when you're talking to people after the show, just talk over up here instead of down here.
Okay.
That's a good one.
That's great. That's great advice.
Yeah, I mean, definitely do not get on a plane with makeup on.
Yeah, never.
Your
face is be. Oh, and also Atlas Obscura is a great website to go any city that you're about to go to. Type it into Atlas Obscura, and it'll tell you the weirdest shit to do in that town. And it's a great way to get to know the weird parts of a town, so you can, if you want to comment on it. I love commenting on a town.
Advice. That is such good advice, because I do love to start with a little local reference or something, and it's like sometimes it is hard to figure out
Yeah,
what
like
that
what do you
should
guys
be.
fucking do here?
Yeah.
I love doing the road though. I love being in a place where I'm like, I would never live here, but I always imagine like, what would my life be like if I lived here? It's so fun.
That
It's
is so
fucking
fun.
And you should have throat coat tea on you at all times for the voice loss. That really works. And then I would start getting massages regularly, definitely by the time you turn 30, with all the plane,
because be creaking.
it'll start.
I know, my back.
Yeah, and like it doesn't have to be
brutal.
expensive.
Yeah.
Just like the cheap $40 ones, like you know,
They're everywhere in New York, and they're really
every couple
good.
weeks.
I'm gonna get one today because I truly have
Stretch.
become so hunched forward.
Neck pillow. Do you have to have a neck pillow?
No, I don't have a neck
You
pillow.
definitely have to have a neck pillow.
Girl. Make sure you wash it in between flights.
Yeah.
Just because I have very sensitive skin, so you can break out.
I've
easily.
literally never washed my neck pillow.
Well, you also have sensitive skin, so
But-
maybe.
Yeah, but yeah, I probably should. I just buy a new neck pillow, honestly. But yeah, like, and they have even better ones now that you can blow up, so that it's not taking up extra luggage space.
Oh, I love
There's
that.
one that you can put on the little tray table and fully put your face in. I want to get
like
that one
because
next.
I usually sleep I'll do tray table down like a big
Like you're in school, like
yeah.
with your hands in your.
Oh,
in
exactly.
your
I
lap,
slept
yeah.
all through school.
Yeah.
Like,
It's gonna
like-
catch up with you. Especially because I'm 5'3", and I used to be able to sleep anywhere because I'm so short.
Yeah.
But like it's gonna start catching up with you, and your neck, like you can really fuck up your neck and your shoulders.
Have you guys had trap Botox?
No, but
No.
someone else mentioned this.
I think Mateo. I listened to Mateo's
Yeah,
episode
yeah,
too.
yeah.
I really desperately want to get it because my traps are like bigger than my whole body, and
wow.
and it's been almost like a chronic thing my whole life. And then I found out that you can get Botox in it.
Oh, cool. Yeah, my mom used to get Botox in her neck that would help loosen her neck muscles, and it was like night and
so
day difference for
that's
her.
my next thing, but I haven't
Nice.
talked to anybody that's had it yet, and so I don't know if it's like actually makes a difference. Or
My,
not.
my
also
mom
did.
exercise these out, but Botox
Stretching
is
and yoga,
faster.
downward dog and stuff, or looking up yoga poses for traps, for your traps specifically to like loosen them up is probably going to be a good bet.
That's great.
Yeah, but
That's-
my mom got Botox in her neck, and it did help her a lot.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah. And if it didn't help her, she would have made it known. So definitely helped.
Well, happy road dogging. Thank you so much for being on our
girl.
show.
Yeah, thank you
Where
for
can we
having
find you
me.
online? What would you like to promote?
I'm Sophie Buds on Instagram. I think also on TikTok. I don't know what I am on Threads. You know how Threads is. It's
Yeah.
like
It's old Twitter.
yeah, it's old Twitter. I'm doing my hour for the Netflix is a Joke Festival.
Nice.
So that's available in my bio on Instagram. That's good. That's
Great.
good enough.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for
Thank you
coming on
for
the show.
having me.
This has been Guys We Fuck, the anti-slut shaming podcast. We will talk to you next Friday.